Hare Krishna. Are we ready? 5, 4, 3, 2. Hare Krishna. It's so wonderful you can go all over the world anywhere and find a family of another strain of your family anywhere and immediately identify and feel at home in the eternal family of Prabhupada. It's nice to be here. Been a long time I didn't come back, but I was busy. It's always, what you can say, a dilemma to consider being humble and what's being considered as puffed up or proud or self-righteous, or try to be humble. So usually if you're humble, then my misconception may be that why don't talk about me, talk about Prabhupada, talk about somebody else. But then somebody said, but you were there, we want to know what was going on. What happened? Well, I can't talk about what happened unless I'm talking about me also. So sometimes I decide not to say anything. And other times I think, well, gee, some wonderful things happened if somebody else knew about that, they'd be very inspired. So I have to sacrifice my desire to be in the background in order to say some things that happened that you can all enjoy.
Thank you.
I shake a bit because I have Parkinson's. I get excited about something and it revs it up. So don't worry about it, it won't bother anybody. And I also thought, well, what's the main, what are we trying to do here?
Sorry, Prabhu.
Right.
Sorry, parents with kids, if you can please ensure that they're not making noise. If they are, please, if you could take them outside. Sorry, both.
Thank you. What was I saying? Well, I was thinking, what are we really trying to do? We're historians, we want to know the history. Are we students and want to study the history? What exactly do we want? And I think what we really want the most is to be inspired to be Krishna conscious, and to be enthused by histories of the past. And therefore we have literatures that have been passed down about the pastimes of the Lord and His devotees that inspire us when we read them. So I thought, well, what really inspired me the most out of all the things that I might mention first? And I remembered that it's not chronological knowledge you wanted me to start with. Prabhupada's writing in Perth. But this is very important to me. And Prabhupada was in another near country, very close to here, and we were traveling together with just a few devotees in a car provided by Mr. Birla, who's a very famous family, and I was feeling a bit down because I felt like I didn't find any service, important or useful service to do to Prabhupada. The microphone went on? So, no, it's still on. So, and then I felt, because the courtesy came and the ladies of the house where we were staying wouldn't know what we meant by the courtesy diet, so we said some, halva and made without grains, and something from grains. So they made up this halva that was full of ghee and dripping with ghee. It was like a ghee pudding. And I, being in the courtesy, I stuffed myself. And then I fell asleep, and when I woke up, Prabhupada was already talking, and I wasn't there. I was late, and then I felt really horrible. And so the next day we're in the car, and in the car I was sitting in the back seat, and Prabhupada was sitting directly in front of me in the front seat. And I just couldn't get a positive, I don't know what I can do for Prabhupada. I'm going to please him, do something to please him. And Prabhupada turns around and he looked at me and he smiled. And he said, as soon as one offers obeisances, all good work is done. And I was like, wow, Prabhupada's listening to me. I'm praying in the back seat and he's listening to me praying. What a moment. And we can always rely on that. You ever feel like you're not doing enough devotional service, get your head on the floor. Pray to Prabhupada for service. So I feel like that's one of the most important moments in my life. And anyone can remember the past by remembering that. And it also means that, was it too loud?
No. It's just the voice is a little bit.
Oh, okay.
It's the echo.
So, Prabhupada, to read what the history, the temple wasn't ready, the Melbourne temple was being constructed, and devotees were scraping and sanding and blasting and sticking together and to fix up this old building. Very, very intense labor, and everybody was just going bananas, as they say, because Prabhupada's coming to open the temple. It's not ready, he's not ready. There's an emergency, everybody's running around every day. There was no leisurely japa or have a Bhagavatam class. Forget it, this is an emergency. Big emergency. And it wasn't ready, there's no altar, there's no floor. There was a wooden floor, there was supposed to be a marble floor. And then Madhavisa, he was the leader, he was the GBC leader. And
Try this one, please.
okay. You like that one better?
Yes. Unanimous. That's different, isn't it? Madhavisa Prabhu was the person in charge for Australasia, and he wanted the floor to be black and white marble, like Prabhupada's Vrindavan designed black and white checkerboard. So then Bhai Bobby and Balaram went off looking at marble shops. They couldn't find any. There's no black and white marble. So they had some onyx and pink and green. So they bought it. They just bought it and ran on. They didn't even ask if anybody liked it. It turned out very beautiful, but it was just such an emergency. Prabhupada's coming. And we're not ready. And the marble altars, there were 3 white marble, kind of gray marble altars, carved columns and bases and little flowers. And it was very beautiful, and it was 3 altars, but it was not designed for this temple. It was for San Francisco temple, for their deities. And they couldn't pay for it. They ordered it, but they couldn't pay for it. So Madhavisa was from there before he came to Australia. So he said, well, we'll buy it, we'll put it in our temple. So that's what he proceeded with. But it doesn't necessarily mean it fits what we got. And they didn't have any instructions in the boxes. It was typical Indian style boxes with pieces of marble in it. You think it's going to say, this is the left side? No. This is the right side? No. This is the first one, or the second one, or the third one? No. Everybody's just looking at it and trying to, with no instructions. Total anxiety. What are we going to do? We don't know what to do. So the man who was commissioned to put in the flat marble floor and polish it and everything, he said, you guys just all go outside and close the door and leave it with me. And we just hear noise of shifting things around, and he just like some kind of magic. We have magic microphones tonight. It's typical for me, I'm always getting bumbling. So he did it, the man, he knew what to do because that's his life. And he built the marble altar altogether. But everything was like that, it was just frantic. And they told, the leaders told Madhavisa that Prabhupada's coming, and Madhavisa had to say, we're not ready. So this is where somebody came, I guess it was him, came up with the idea Prabhupada has a break. It would be good for Prabhupada to have a break and stay in Perth for 10 days. That's how this all happened in the beginning. So we all got, in Perth all got the mercy because of that. Sort of like a dominoes, you know. Prabhupada's coming to Perth. Where is he going to stay? I don't know. We don't have anything to stay. We got Day2 Prabhu with a big checkbook because he runs Spiritual Sky, sending products into his company. And then they said, who else can go? Ganesh Prabhu could go. He collects money. And Amogha could go. And this is where it's interesting. I was requested to go because I had received Prabhupada before in Jakarta. So that's considered in this situation a good qualification. So yes, I agreed to that straight away. And off we went. And landed in a land where we know nobody. Except for, what's that? That was kind of comical. Anyway, nobody knew. All we knew is Ganesh's mother and sister lived in Perth. So, often a jet. I came on a jet yesterday. It was like, just go for it, which was the Hare Krishna movement back then anyway. Everybody in the movement was just going for it. We love Prabhupada, we're inspired, we don't want anything else in the world, and they just give all their energy to do Prabhupada's service. So, Chaitanya Prabhu started looking in the newspapers for something like cabin on the beach, tourist cabin, tourist accommodation, something like that. Couldn't find anything, just turned it upside down. Couldn't find anything. That was the anxiety. It wasn't like Bliss Prabhu, this is wonderful. It was like, what are we going to do? Prabhupada's coming, we're not ready. It wasn't like, maybe we can find a nice cabin. There were no cabins. So then if you tick off one thing that's not possible, the next thing too, it might be okay. That was, we have to rent a house. We have to rent a house. We have to lease a house. You have to put a deposit, get a lease, open it, and Prabhupada stayed in it for 10 days. And I don't know what Chaitanya arranged about the rest of that deal. Nobody told anybody else about that. But, so that's how it all got started. And then we got, Prabhupada's coming, I think it was Sunday, I might get my details right, but he's coming the next day. And we're not ready. There's nothing in the house, it's empty. So then we started, Ganesh started trucking things in from his mother's house. Furniture, beds, tables, chairs, anything. Laundry racks, you name it, just go mad, whatever's in the house, put it in that house. By tomorrow. By tomorrow. And and I went out and bought kitchen stuff. I had to create a wholly equipped kitchen to cook Prabhupada's meals, and so pots, pans, and this and that. And, you know what's in the kitchen. Put all that in. So And then Prabhupada's arriving, we need a big garland. And they had this big, I suppose they still have, these huge rose gardens. At the time they were so big. And big roses. Like in that one photograph I took of Prabhupada with a huge rose garland. So we reconnoitered those in the service of the Lord. And we put them in a big basket, bag like you do for a laundry bag and something like that. And by the time Prabhupada arrived, we were like huffing and puffing it to get to the airport on time, and it all went ahead. So when Prabhupada came down to the house, he liked it very much, and he came in the doorway, and the hallway you turn right, and I had set a chair and a pitcher of water with yogurt and honey and flower petals, and we were going to ask Prabhupada if we can wash his feet, which I'd never done, but we tried, and he seemed to kind of, the pot was down here, and he thought, oh, this is a big house, and then he kind of floated on past the bathing spot. And then I asked Srila Kirti if we could bathe Prabhupada's feet, and he asked Prabhupada, he said, oh. And he sat down on the chair, and then I poured the water on his foot, and he kind of, it was too cold, it was freezing cold. So Srila Kirti, who's an active servant all the time, he said, oh, let me fix this, and he took a pot and he ran over the hot water tap, some hot water, back to Prabhupada. Take two. Oh, this is nice warm water. And some of these details are just fun, but not significant. When I was shopping for things, I went to look at socks for Prabhupada. And I thought, well, what kind of socks? What do you want, thin socks? Or big, thick, puffy winter socks? I wasn't sure, so I decided to buy both. So he sat there, and I dried off his feet with a little towel we had, and I put the thin socks on his feet, and then he left that on. But later on I saw in the room, as soon as he got in the room, he put the thick socks on. So that was fun. Like we just heard before, everybody was exhausted after all this, to this point, and when Prabhupada took rest, everybody else just like, hit the floor, and that's when, if you join these two together, we take off from where Jaidana and explain what happened after that. It's interesting, kind of connects there. So we're conk out, Chaitanya takes over getting chastised. And Prabhupada asked me, what's the program? So we're all lying on the floor, and Prabhupada's there, hovering over us, and what's the program? And he said those things to Chaitanya, and so he went and sat in his room. We had chosen his small room on the side that would be ideal for him to write and everything. And so I went in there and offered obeisances, and he said, all the devotees should have a class every morning and every evening. His class, every morning, every evening. So where's the evening class? Wake the devotees up, we're having a class. So he told me to go wake them all up. So I'm like, Prabhupada wants us to have a class. And then everybody got in. After all that, I'm going to sleep, and they're like, Prabhupada didn't sleep very long, and he was straight back into it. And that's what happened the first thing. I read some passages and Prabhupada would explain and preach according to the Bhagavad Gita. That was the first day. Oh, I forgot to mention. I was commissioned to cook Prabhupada's lunch, which I've never done before also. I have cooked a little bit, just from devotees telling each other what you do. Some spices, some cumin seeds, some ghee. So I had, one preparation was tomato, eggplant, tomato, and another one I think was like a cauliflower potato. I could be wrong on the details. Definitely had dal and eggplant, tomato, something, rice. I didn't have any chapatis because I didn't have any flat grill to. So, but the nice thing was that I went outside and I was outside and he came out of his room and said to me, everything was very nice. So that was really nice memory. Everything was very nice. So then he said, so many nice houses. When we were driving in, I saw so many nice houses. This was at a time in history when people didn't like the Hare Krishnas all that much. It wasn't like, oh, there's a wonderful Hare Krishnas now. There's a lazy bums begging on the street. Get a job. I shaved his and ponytailed. They didn't know about the Vedic culture. So when Prabhupada said to me, invite all the neighbors, we'll preach to the neighbors. I was like, preach to the neighbors? I don't know anybody in person. So then I got creative and said, well, there's a phone booth. They used to have phone booths everywhere. Toaster ones, so you go in and put a coin in and call. So there was a Yellow Pages, a phone book, big phone book they used to have. So I just started getting creative. All called the University Philosophy Department. And so I called up, my guru is in town, he wants to preach to explain to you about the Vedic culture and ancient history of India. So things like that. So I just kept calling them. I even got to one stage where I called a psychologist. not to save me, but because they might be interested. For the Krishna consciousness can make people more happy. So it's a good way of treating people. Become happy, chant Hare Krishna. So I tried to invite people. People would give suggestions also. Somebody said there's a psychiatrist that has spiritual meditation and different things like this. And one guy was at the university studying Hindu philosophy, and one lady was sociology researcher or something like that. And so I invited them, and Justin Murphy. Justin Murphy was the liaison officer of the CSIRO, Perth. I don't know why he came, but he was one of the most interesting people that ever came in that. It was basically a week. And all these recordings are available somehow. Who do you write to? I haven't tried recently. But there's an archives and they should have it all. I think every temple should appoint or inspire someone to get that together so that they have like a library and they have at least access to all those kind of recordings and pictures and stuff like that. Anyway, and Ganesh Prabhu's mother and sister came to meet Prabhupada. They're Jewish, so Prabhupada was talking to them about Krishna consciousness, but they seemed a bit uncomfortable, awkward, because they feel like their religion is being superseded, or somebody's preaching that their religion is higher than mine. So Prabhupada kept saying, it doesn't matter if you're Hindu or Muslim or Christian or Jewish. It doesn't matter if you know who God is and you love God. That's everything. And then he talked for a while longer, and then he'd say again, it doesn't matter what religion you are, if you love God. Even if you're Hindu or Jewish or Christian, any religion, if you know God and you love God, that's all important, that's everything. So then they're like, they're happy, but everybody felt really, Prabhupada could feel a mood in a room, and they say something to make it all improved. So they were just like, because they don't have to try to defend their religion, all religions are good. So then he says, so, do you know who God is? They looked at each other, looked at the ceiling, looked at the floor. They couldn't think of any answer, and then all the attention came back. But it was for the purpose that Prabhupada said, if you understand that Supreme Personality of Godhead has unlimited beauty, unlimited knowledge, unlimited wealth, unlimited fame, unlimited renunciation, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navyoganam Cha. Krishna is non-dual, he's infallible. Anadim, he's the original. Ananta Rupam, from which come unlimited other forms of himself. Ananta Rupam, unlimited forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adyam Purana Purusham. He's a Purusham Purana, the oldest person in existence. Navayovanam Cha. He's the oldest, but he's always young, perfectly young, beautiful. Never gets old, never gets gray, never gets wrinkly. So then they were like, wow. Really had a big realization there. In their mood. It was a good mood, it was a wonderful mood. But as we know, the revelation that Prabhupada gave the world, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's just amazing. I need a little water. I guess we could go into those other meetings with people. I've done my time, have I? I mean...
No, we have time.
Yes, I can stop a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you,
The other one was Justin Murphy, was really interesting. Pretty in-depth concept. And the lady from the university, I forget her name right now, but she, sorry? Cornish. Kim Cornish was the guy. He was a Hindu philosophy student or something like that. And he asked Prabhupada about the Atma. Prabhupada liked good questions. And he was discussing about the Atma, the soul, and eternal soul, and changing our bodies. It was a nice conversation. I don't remember all the specific questions at the moment. And Kim Cornish, and then remember I mentioned the priest, the psychologist that does yoga and meditation. He came to see Prabhupada and he was really weird. He's kind of looking at his face like... And Prabhupada was preaching to him for a while, and then he was just sitting there with his eyes staring a bit. So I was really worried because this guy's a really weirdo, you know, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna say? Then he says, my whole life has changed since I surrendered. And Prabhupada started preaching to him about ghosts and how they take over people because they haven't got a material body and they're completely frustrated, and so they try to take somebody's body and take control and do things through them. And that was really weird. Prabhupada didn't talk about that very much, and the man was really weird. And when Prabhupada wanted somebody to be showed the door, like had enough of this guy, he had a kind of code. It was give him some prasada. So the conversation's like dwindling out, and Prabhupada goes, so, give him some prasada. So cut a banana up, bring it back in. Thank you very much for coming to visit us. Bye-bye. Then he came back in the room, Srila Kirti came back, and the man went away, I came back in the room. And Srila Kirti said, Srila Prabhupada, what did you try to say by talking about ghosts? You don't ever talk about that. And Prabhupada said, indirectly I told him he's haunted. So he just surrendered to the wrong person. That was interesting. Morning walks. We could go over some of those in more detail next time, but they were wonderful. I always remember certain points of them. I like the your science. If you say your science is belief, then we can say our science, our belief is science. If you say your science is belief, no. If you say your science, your religion, your belief, if you say your belief is science, that's it. If you say your belief is science, then we can say our belief is science. And Ganesh Prabhu got chastised a little bit. And he said to Prabhupada, so Prabhupada, if the Bhagavad Gita is only 5,000 years old, what is this? Prabhupada said, what? You don't read the Bhagavad Gita? You haven't read the Bhagavad Gita? Aren't you a student? And then Ganesh was like, oh, well, Prabhupada said, Bhagavad Gita is millions of years old. You didn't read Bhagavad Gita? But then I came in, I said, I think he was trying to pose as a materialist. And Prabhupada said, no, they can do that. But one who's a student of Bhagavad Gita should know it's millions of years old. Is that a good ending for tonight?
Yes.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Amogha Prabhu, for such wonderful pastime for Srila Prabhupada. Please give me a big round of applause.